Well, they used to say that a woman's place is in the kitchen, and now that has all changed as more women infiltrate more industries and make their voices heard. Good evening and welcome to Unfiltered. We're doing things a bit differently this evening as we celebrate women and say that women indeed are doing it for themselves. Remember that you can also be part of the conversation this evening as we ask who are the women who are inspiring you and why that is. You can go onto our Twitter page, use the @Unfiltered SABC handle, or go into Facebook and search for Unfiltered. In studio tonight we have Zanele Ntuli, who is the president of the African Investors Council, an organization that brings together companies and entrepreneurs for the development of the African continent in the fields of sustainable and innovative agriculture and food. Lindiwe Nkuna, founder and CEO of Ngaraga Technologies and Lindiwe Sanitary Pads. She's also one of the winners of the Presidential Award on Black Industrialists. Also joining us this evening is Nomlayo Mabhena-Mlilo, an attorney at Cliff Decker Hofmeyr, where she has been named the youngest black female attorney to be admitted as a conveyancer in South Africa. And this evening we are saying that, ladies, well done.
Thank you.
Well done. It is inspirational to have women like yourself, especially considering that it's black women that we're having this conversation with about the strides that you've made. And as the team, as we're putting together today's show, we're saying let's celebrate women. Let's see all of the different roles that women have been able to achieve and the different positions that they've been able to achieve, and also making some influence. Lindiwe, I'm going to start off with you because yours is an industry that you decided to go in that affects all women.
Oh, yes, yes. So, yes, ours is an industry that affects all women. So I felt that I needed to create a platform that women can actually use to be part of the industry, because in the past women were actually not involved in the manufacturing of the sanitary pads themselves. We were only just end users, and I felt that we needed to change the narrative and the way things are in South Africa. There wasn't female-owned sanitary pads manufacturing company, and I thought, you know what, we need to change that, and we need to bring the sisters along so that we are not just end users, but we are active participants in the mainstream.
That was quite a bold move, though. Weren't you scared?
Well, yeah, it was a bold move. It's still a bold move. It's scary because, you know, you're challenging the big boys, both in the retail space, because now we're no longer just playing in our small corner. We now have entered into various retailers, you know, and we now saying we are now disrupting the market, you know. We're not just, you know, like a small organization in a corner. We're now saying we're equal to the task, you know. We're fighting for the space in the industry, no longer as new entrants, but as industrialists. And
Nomlayo, for you, as always being revered as the youngest black woman to be admitted as a conveyance, and something that we have of course celebrate. But Lindiwe speaks of the disruptive nature of, I guess, strides like those that are being made. Tell us about that for your industry.
So the law industry in general is one that has been mostly male-dominated and also quite pale or white. You know, it has only changed in recent years. So coming into an industry, especially real estate, which is still more guarded, was a bit of a step or a stretch for us. And it's not an industry where you find a lot of black females. And for you to write that exam and have the confidence to write it, I mean, it's one of those exams which has a pass rate of like 14%. So it's really a task that you need to put yourself up for. And yeah, so it was really a stride in the right direction, I think. And it's an inspiration to other women to see that you can actually get into the space, even though it wasn't always open to us.
But what does it feel like to walk into a boardroom, to go and meet clients? And at the time, as you're meeting the clients, not only are you the only black person perhaps in the room, but you're also perhaps the youngest.
Yeah, so that has been, I think, the difficulty, because you walk into a boardroom and you are very young and you have these corporate clients and you have to convince them that my advice is not going to cost you millions. So it's quite a daunting task, but it's something that you actually need to work yourself up to and build your confidence in that space. Even though you don't have people that look like you in that area, you need to find it within yourself to actually be confident enough to say, I know this stuff and I know that it's going to work for you.
And Zanele, where did the drive for business for you start?
Oh my God, I always say I'm a serial entrepreneur. Actually, it started a long time ago. I've been at it for over 20 years and doing different things in different areas. But most recently, I am the president of African Investors Council, which was started by various organizations in the continent, in the African continent. You know, we are used to saying in Africa as if we are not in Africa.
Yes.
That's why when I say in the continent, I mean the African continent of ours where we are at. And then we actually sort of started it with the Chamber of Commerce of Turkey. And we started actually in 2017 when I was invited in Turkey. We started, we sort of played around with the idea of bringing all Africans in Turkey. We called it Africa Meets the World in Turkey. So we worked on that 2018, 2019. We were planning to launch in 2020. But unfortunately, you know, COVID was upon us. Unfortunately, we couldn't. And then we resuscitated the idea in 2021 towards the end of the year. And then we changed the name to African Investors Council because we sort of spoke to different organizations in the continent. But we have presidents all over the world, literally, but mostly in the continent. And then we also have a president in the US, Caribbean, in Europe as well. So we are quite a big organization. There's over 90
Isn't
of
that
us.
scary though? Like,
No, it is
because you're not
not.
even speaking just about the country, you're
Yes.
speaking about the continent, but now also including the globe.
No, it is not. I'll tell you why. Because of my experience, in 2015, we launched, which I'm still president of, African Business Leaders Forum. So it was just, and also I've traveled quite a bit as far as the continent is concerned, and of course the world. So it wasn't that difficult. Obviously, I mean, with the help of the Turkish Chamber of Commerce and the different people, so we were able to put together this team, this formidable team, which has worked wonders. We've just come back from Turkey, by the way. In June, we had the agricultural event. But in June, from June 15 right up until 2021, but it's actually very important for me to mention that we are not only about agriculture, we are about entrepreneurs. We open opportunities for the continent and entrepreneurial opportunities for the continent. So, yeah.
And big on education as well.
Oh, yes, 100%.
So when we come back, we'll continue having this conversation about women leadership and also some of the challenges that women actually face when it comes to leadership. But there's also the resilience element to it that we need to have a conversation on. And love to inspire you watching this program right at home to say that how do I do it? How do I make sure that although there is this narrative around women, number one, struggling, or sometimes the perception that women are weak, how do you overcome all of that and still make sure that you succeed like these women who are joining me in studio this evening? That conversation when we come back. Well, we continue our conversation focusing on women in the country and just celebrating some of the strides that they've made. And this evening, I'm joined by Zanele Ntuli, who is the president of the AIC. Also part of the conversation, Lindiwe Nkuna, who has won that presidential award on Black Industrialist, and Nomlayo Mabhena-Mlilo, who is an attorney and also a conveyancer, as we have a conversation about some of the strides that have been made. Nomlayo, for you, that level of resilience that comes with having to be in positions that seem to be reserved for only a selected few. Where do you find it from?
I find it from my childhood. So I find that my parents worked very hard to get me where I am.
Both teachers, by the way.
Both teachers, both primary school teachers. Yes, they're primary school teachers, and they really did everything they could to make sure that I got to be exactly what I wanted to be. So I think when I walk into a room and there's that perception of incompetence, I have to remind myself that all the work that has been done by the people that came before me and by myself is what has led me here, and I need to actually put myself or build it within myself, it's very difficult because you can't make a mistake. It's a lot of pressure because if there's already a perception of incompetence, if you make a mistake, it's notched as incompetence. If a person who is already deemed to be competent makes a mistake, it's a mistake.
Yeah.
So you can't make a mistake, and it's a lot of pressure, and it's a lot of sleepless nights and worrying about things. But I also do believe that we need to leave the world better than we found it, and we need to leave it better for the girls that come after us. So we have to enjoy the things that we have enjoyed so that they don't have to when they come in. As much as the women who marched in 1956 enjoyed something we won't probably enjoy at the moment, but they did it for us to be in this space. So we also need to build that same resilience for the people that are going to come
Do you face a bit of an imposter syndrome? Before I go
all
to
the time.
Lindy, do you face that imposter syndrome that says that I'm young, I'm black, perhaps the perception is that I don't belong, and that then has an impact on how you actually execute your work as well or navigate these spaces?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You'll always have that feeling of, well, am I good enough to be here? Why is there no one else who looks like me here? Am I just here because I'm a BE higher? That's one of the things that you start to think about. But you have to remind yourself of the things you've done, and it's a constant exercise. I have a friend who always says, when you do something well, always note it down, so that every time you doubt yourself, you go back and look at it and remember that, you know what, I did well over there, so I can still do well going forward.
You want to add on that?
Yes, it's actually very inspiring to see young people like this making so many strides, you know, especially in the entrepreneurial kind of space, which is something that at the time when I started doing it, because of course I'm the youngest amongst the two. When I started, it was a taboo. Oh, no, you're running a business. What is it are you doing exactly? You know, people believed in being employed at the time. But I mean, it's very, very encouraging. I was even listening to her, I mean, starting and taking on, you know, the conglomerates that have been in the space forever. So it's actually very encouraging, I must say.
And where do you find that inspiration from?
I think I've been a wanted child. Right? I've been a wanted child, being the only girl out of 6 boys and being the last one. So they really wanted a girl child. And I was.
Is that the reason why I didn't lead you?
Yes. You know, so because of that, I've always believed you can't make me doubt myself. You know, you can't make me believe I don't belong in this space. I had to be here because God created me to be here, so that because I've been the awaited one, you know. So if I don't do this, then who will? Who will do it for the South African women? Who will do it for the industry? You know, for.
But when it does come, Lindiwe, because it's fine that you have that thing that's instilled in you that says that I'm a wanted child, you know, and they've been waiting for my arrival. However, though, you come into a society and the society pushes back, even with all of that confidence that you have.
So that's where the Lindiwe comes in to say, society, that's how you've been. You've been operating for decades or even for a millennium. But then there's this child who's coming to change the narrative, because Lindiwe sanitary pads it's about disrupting the norm. You know, it's about disrupting what the society knows, you know, because we all used to manufacturing first being for men, manufacturing of sanitary pads first being for the conglomerate. But now here is a local lady who started as a small business, you know, that's coming to disrupt. So for me, and also now when you talk of resilience, the women that I'm carrying, right, 98% of the people that I employ are women. Right? So it goes beyond just being about me. So I can't afford to have a man or the society or anybody or the industry intimidate me. If I allow that to intimidate me and then I go back to my little corner, then I'm letting down all these 90-something women that are dependent on me, and their family are dependent on me being able to pay that salary. So failure and intimidation is not even an option. Resilience is the only way forward.
And who inspires Zanele?
Oh my God. I grew up in a home where my dad worked, but my mom was running a business. We sold just about everything.
That's why you're the serial
Inkukhu.
entrepreneur.
We sold inkukhu, amaqanda, and even, you know, it took me a long time before I went back to eating eggs because, you know, it's amaqanda nomphuthu. I'm from KZN.
Yeah.
So amaqanda nomphuthu, amaqanda in the morning, during the day, at night. So we sold just about everything at home. So that's how I sort of love the independence that it gives you to be an entrepreneur, because you know you sort of work, but people shouldn't think that it's glamorous. It's actually hard work. Sometimes you are your own PA, you are a secretary, you are the CEO, you are just about everything. So it's not easy. But you know, when you keep on pushing, you'd be able to.
I'm going to ask a very difficult question, and I know a lot of people struggle with this.
Yeah.
It is. I'm going to start off with you, Zanele.
Yes.
What are you proud of about yourself? This gives you enough time to think about yours.
Oh my God.
I know how difficult it is to speak about yourself.
Oh my God, it's not easy. It's not easy. Look, I am proud of myself. What makes me proud of myself is I'm a very focused person. Once I look at something and say, I want this, I make sure that nothing is going to distract me. I would make sure that I get it.
Nomlayo?
That's a very difficult question. I think I'm proud of how far I've come in a short space of time. I think people work a lot of years to get to, you know, be an attorney, a notary, a conveyancer, and everything. And that's everything you can be in South African law. And the fact that I did that when I was that young, I'm very proud of that.
Well done.
Yeah.
Lindiwe?
I'm more proud of the fact that I'm daring, and that, yes, I'm daring, and I don't really believe that there's anything that can stop me except for myself. That's the one thing that I'm really proud of. And the other thing is I'm proud of not being scared to start, you know, because I believe every great thing, you can have the greatest of ideas, you know, but if you don't start, no matter how small, you know, you'll never be great. That idea can never amount to anything great. So people underestimate the power of starting, you know. So, and oftentimes we're intimidated by starting because we feel like it's not good enough. Let me wait for the perfect time.
Yeah.
Let me wait for enough resources. Let me wait for the environment to be conducive. But it can never be conducive. It can never be perfect. There's never a perfect time to start.
Yeah.
So I'm more proud of the fact that I'm able to start against all odds.
I think the other part is also the issue around failure, the fear of failure, because once you fail, it's a bit difficult to think about dusting yourself off and trying again. So we're going to continue our conversation when we go back. Just need to quickly go to an ad break. When we come back, we hope to leave you with words of inspiration that says to you, don't give up. There's an opportunity out there just waiting for you to grab it. So tomorrow marks Women's Day here in South Africa, and today we've decided to celebrate women and put a positive spin to the narrative relating to women in the country and looking at some of the strides that they've made. But as we conclude our conversation this evening, hope to leave you with words of inspiration that say to you, don't give up. Yes, things may be tough, but don't give up. There's an opportunity that lies down the road for you, and it's just waiting for you to grab it. Zanele, what does the future hold for you? And what words of inspiration would you like to leave our viewers with?
Well, I'm still going to do more events in Europe and all over the world, not just in Europe, and of course in our continent as well. And they must watch the space.
And the First Ladies of Africa?
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, yes, yeah. I do have a show called First Ladies of Africa. Let me talk about it just a little bit. You know, each and every time when a president is inaugurated, you just know about him and the lady standing next to him. But you never know who is she up until the term of that president is gone. So it has been from as far back as I can remember that I saw this niche and I thought, you know what, I need to start a First Ladies of Africa show whereby we would actually we won't touch politics. Politics is for the husband. We'll leave politics alone. But we'll talk to her. Who are you? Did you even know that you'll get here? What do you do? What inspires you? So I have started. In fact, we have a first lady called Gracia Michelle, there is no first lady that has married 2 presidents in the whole world.
Okay, just quickly, words of inspiration.
Yes, words of inspiration. You know, each and every child is born with the hands like this. Mothers will know what the child is holding is a gift. That child needs to know what is that gift and make sure that you are focused on that gift. And you'll just know everything. You'll just love that thing, whatever it is that you are doing. So be focused.
Yeah.
Do not be distracted. Whatever you want, I don't care how hard it may be. As long as you feel good, this is what you're meant to do.
Go for it.
Do it.
Nomlayo, the future for you and words of inspiration?
The future for me. So I think my future, I want to do my master's in international commercial arbitration because I think that's where the world is heading. People are not keen on the court system as much anymore because it's not as efficient as we would like it to be, but also the world has become a global community. So we have so many cross-border, transnational transactions happening and disputes arise from that. So I think I would want to be at the forefront of being able to practice in that space as well. I also would like to do my solicitor's exam to be able to practice in England and Wales. And no, I'm not planning on emigrating. I think it's just good to see what other jurisdictions have to offer.
And quickly, words of inspiration.
Be resilient. The world is your oyster. Just do everything that you need to do.
Lindiwe, quickly for you, what the future holds and words of inspiration.
Well, we are in a process of expanding. Now, obviously, building a bigger factory, having more machinery, employing more women, getting into more retail space and all of that. Yeah, so that's where we're going. And also, we are now targeting the export market. Expanding in that space. So Lindiwe Santripets should be a brand that is celebrated in the whole of Africa. That's what's in the pipeline for us.
Words of inspiration, could you?
Words of inspiration is, girl, you got it. Just go do it.
And these girls got it. These girls got it. Thank you so much, ladies, and continue being an inspiration. And I hope to see maybe a collaboration here that works out. Zanele, Nomlayo, as well as Lindiwe. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. And I hope that you've been inspired by the stories of these 3 women and also the resilience that is needed to have a story that says it is possible. You can succeed. Enjoy the rest of your evening and also enjoy Women's Day tomorrow. Totsiens. Bye-bye.